electricity of the cable. Do you hear that?
Hey there, it's Austin with Aces of Average again. This video is just a documentation of a trip that Brandon and I took out to the West Coast in California. We got to see some insane wind at Hurricane Point, saw the beauty of the Big Sur coast, marveled at the majestic Redwoods, and even did some climbing in Yosemite. To cap it all off, we were the first people to summit Half Dome on my birthday this year, which I felt very blessed. Feel free to skip to the section that interests you most. I'll put up the times here. These were the waves at the Santa Cruz area, if I'm not mistaken. Watching these surfers really made us want to rent some boards and wetsuits ourselves, but we decided against it since we had so much other stuff going on. There's a lot of flora here that was just beautiful around the coast. There's this weird blowhole thing that we saw. The water went into a cave and forced the air out this little pipe. From there we drove down Highway 1 towards Hurricane Point, which you'll see here. It's absolutely beautiful. We had to hike down this steep trail to get here, and I actually fell and twisted my ankle, sprained it pretty good. Thankfully, I was able to power through the rest of the trip, but I was pretty worried about it. I think this would be a good point to explain where we stayed, which was the back of the van. We rented a van and stayed in the back most of the time. We did get some crazy winds where we stayed at Hurricane Point, and it got even worse in the morning. We wanted to play around with deploying a hammock just to see what would happen. Let's move on to the redwoods. We got to see the coastal redwoods, which is the highest species, and the sequoia redwoods, which are the widest or thickest species. This was just a compilation of what we saw.
Here at the nice sequoia grove, massive fallen tree. Wait, what's that sound?
All right, let's move on to Yosemite Valley. The first day or so, we just kind of stayed in the valley and soaked it all in. It's quite a sight to see, 3,000 foot cliff faces. The next day we went climbing.
Well, it's not doing too great trying to find the route, but at least we got pretty views to make it better.
Once we found the route, we really enjoyed some Yosemite granite. We did sport climb here, which is pretty rare. There's only a handful of sport climbs in the valley, but it was an incredible experience.
Good thing?
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, nice.
I'm gonna swing out. Ready? I just need to not grab that.
One of the scariest climbs I've ever done, actually.
Yeah, it is. There's a little cramp right here that's allowing me to pull out here.
I really ended up climbing this route wrong. There's a huge flake that you can kind of just lay back on, but for some reason I got mesmerized and went inside the flake and ended up having to do some really awkward off-width climbing.
Sweet. Do you hear that? That's a rock.
This flake of rock was really sketchy.
That's sketchy. That is incredible. Barely poking out a tree line. I'm gonna let Brando complete this. I'm pretty worn out.
We did get one other climb in. It was a really awesome route, beautiful exposure, and a beautiful view at the top. Let's get to Half Dome. So the stats of Half Dome aren't really that impressive. It's 4,800 feet of elevation gain and 8.2 miles. That is 16.4 round trip. However, the sheer drop-off and extreme exposure of the rock makes it world-class. We decided to break this hike up into 2 days just to make it more enjoyable. So we camped at Little Yosemite Valley and summited the next day.
Starting up the Misty Trail to Half Dome. Actually, we're going to get Little Yosemite Valley first to set up camp. And Half Dome is way out that way. Made it for its little bridge. Feeling good, right?
Gnarly big creek stuff. Look at them boulders. He's stalking the boy. These guys might feed them. I'm thinking.
Yeah. Seems pretty. Well, still moving up. You can see kind of the area of Yosemite Valley where we came from and the pass that we went through.
Saw the bobcat crossing the trail casually. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Kind of getting around, actually.
Bunch of switchbacks right now. There's the falls we'll be going to. Those Yosemite Valley's back behind it. And that's Half Dome. We'll be going up the backside. Nevada Falls. Beautiful emerald pools. And it drops off. How far does it drop off, Rando?
At least 600 feet.
Yeah. We can down that ravine and around the corner. The valley on the other side of this ridge. Pretty amazing. Hey, little friend. It's so dark in there you can't see. Well, I made it to the little backpacking camp. Looking pretty impressive. Tomorrow we gotta go way up there. That's huge. But we're feeling good. Off into the darker hours. Getting up to breaking tree line. Let's just climb over this ridge here. This is actually a really cool shot.
On Subdome. Lights coming up.
Okay, there is the cable route. Sun's starting to peek over in some spots. We don't quite have sunlight yet, but you can see, pan around over there, the sun's gloriously gracing the rock with its glance. We're gonna stop here and put our harnesses on for the cables since the cables are down. Just missed the sun breaching over. But it's gonna get warm real quick. All right, we kind of geared up, about to start the cables in the saddle here. This crazy knife edge mountain. We're persicking up the cable. Still moving up. Kind of see our rig. Normally you'd always want 2 prusiks anytime you're ascending something, but because it's a steel cable and not actually vertical, we feel pretty safe with 1. And we're locking off with a leash when we need to change, like Brandon's doing right now. He's locked off with a leash and changing prusik over to the other side of the connector or anchor. Well, we made it. Top of Half Dome. Be very careful up here. Sheer drop, like what, 3,000 feet, something like that. And our parking spot's somewhere down there.
4,800 feet down there.
There's one Brando 360 views. Pretty sweet.
The way down was pretty uneventful, other than a few snakes that we moved off the trail. And I did want to go ahead and thank Brandon for putting up with me this trip. I was kind of grouchy and not feeling well the entire time, and he definitely showed me some grace. So thanks, buddy.